Hello, my name's Ken Birk and I'm asking for your vote for the minority ethnic member seat at this year's 2020 Council Equity elections. Why am I running? Well, to put it simply, I believe this industry of ours should be accessible to all, regardless of your race, where you were born, where you live, your age, gender, sexuality, whether or not you identify as working class, whether or not you trained formally, through experience, or entered this industry through an unconventional route in your discipline or disciplines, and so forth. Ultimately, I believe the work that we see should be reflective of the society we live in, both in front of and behind the scenes. So why me? Well, I've already been an active equity member and activist, having recently started up an initiative with Charlotte Bents from Equity to monitor, survey and build an agreement for all members in the corporate role-play sector. This would be to promote conditions of best working practice as well as clamp down on undercutting and agency interference with the rates, to name a few. Like my proposers Radhika Agarwal and Rosie Ackerman, I've worked in many facets of this industry, including audio, theatre, and even in variety as a quizmaster and compere for live events. So, to ensure that freelancers can afford to remain in the industry, it's crucial that we monitor and look after all these sectors to ensure professional artists can be professionally paid. I've also campaigned for the extension of the government's income support scheme, as well as lobbied for these measures to go further to ensure a universal basic income for all struggling freelancers in these tough times. I've also not been afraid to speak out against organisations like Spotlight, who have refused to offer all members a 3-month membership extension in light of COVID-19, based on an opt-in technicality where you could only receive this if you knew about having to apply within a time frame of just a few days. I spoke out about this on Twitter and had numerous retweets and comments and many performers who contacted me saying they were in the same boat. No notice was given about when this scheme would open, and this was done deliberately to ensure that uptake of the offer was as low as possible. Let us not forget, they only offered this in the first place after a campaign from outraged members. It's not beyond their remit to offer this, considering they have a monopoly on this service. And if you vote for me, I will not hesitate to speak out on such issues, as it comes back to my ethos that this industry should be accessible to all, regardless of your background. Now, as a representative for the minority ethnic seat, I will not take this position lightly, especially in light of the Lawrence Fox debacle and of the hugely important Black Lives Matter protests. I will firstly monitor and work to ensure that the industry follows the recommendations from the recently launched Independent Commission for Race Equality. But more importantly, given this has been a conversation that has been happening for years, decades even, I will promote the need for the industry to recognise the initiatives that many hard-working members and organisations have already put in place to combat the lack of diversity. Do they know about the Triforce Creative Network, for example, founded by Jimmy Akingbola, Fraser and Minnie Ayres, which seeks to place B.A.M.E. talent in positions behind the scenes because as stage managers, lighting designers and directors should be equally valued members, and diversity here is key to real change as a whole. Do they know about ADF, Artistic Directors of the Future, and the work Samelia Hodge-Dalloway has been doing for years to ensure our buildings have diverse decision makers, both on the artistic teams and, crucially, on the advisory boards? Do they know about institutions such as WAC Arts, which trains and nurtures primarily B.A.M.E. talent, offering highly subsidised courses, both full and part-time, and give these students the same recognition and platforms as our mainstream drama schools? Are theatre companies like Tallowa, Tara, Yellow Earth and Tamasha being given the recognition and funding they need and deserve in nurturing B.A.M.E. artists, for many of whom drama school is not an option, and such opportunities, collaboration, are a lifeline for being able to enter and remain in this industry? Also, crucially, I believe I understand the nuance to these debates, having listened for years at Act for Change events and various industry conferences. For example, the extreme marginalisation of East Asian performers, and even worse, the performers of half East Asian heritage who struggle to be cast in East Asian adaptations, and a rarity in itself when they are even commissioned, but yet are told they cannot be cast in period dramas, Caucasian family units, and feel they have virtually no place. Our black female performers who experience colorism in comparison to their lighter peers, and performers like myself who often experience typecasting of Islamic extremists and more. We need to be lobbying all our broadcasters to provide a diverse slate of casts and storytelling in their programming. And at this year's London AGM, I mentioned that this should start with the publicly funded BBC. If a period drama is commissioned, broadcasters do not always need to take a verisimilitude approach. Films like David Copperfield and Mary Queen of Scots prove that our period dramas can be diverse, and this is exciting. So I'm asking you to please let me have a seat at the table so I can fight for real change in this industry to make a fairer, more accessible industry for all. Thank you.